Yeah, I just thought I'd see if I could get you a better close up on my Freddies. I can never remember the catch location off the top of my head, but I will put the name of it in the title. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're definitely. Well, I suppose it depends on it's down to the individual, I suppose. But to me, they're more handsome fish than the RTMs. I think. But the males are definitely. The golds on these are unreal. I mean, these are hungry all the time because there's 3 of them in there, and I've got a Cuban in there as well, as you can see down there. You can see that scaly. But you know, like when you keep one Parachromis on its own, I had it before with Dovite, everything. They don't eat that much food. When you compare them to like Amphilophus and things like that, which don't stop. But well, Cubans actually as well. Cubans are another ones. They're greedy as well. Greedy little suds. But let me give them something to eat. Car plates in it. All of those there are little flavs. They just don't look like it because they're the smallest fish in it. They're so, their colours look so washed out, where they're so far down the pecking order. I need to get some white vinegar in the front of this tank. Yeah, there's another one of the little flavs. But yeah, these Freddies are nice. I think that was just a Cuban just then. I think putting the Cuban in there was a good idea, although it is going to cause unwanted hybrid fry. But I mean, with the amount of fish that's in here. Well, do you know what? It might cause problems if I end up with this female Cuban who's aggressive anyway, and say with the dominant male Freddy, or multifasciatus as they're now called. But it might make it so that they'll try and kill everything else in the tank, or it could be that they'll just spawn and all the fry get eaten by everything else. I have to cross that bridge when I come to it. But my plan was just to buy the 3 of them, grow out. I wanted to keep the biggest male to grow out just as a pet fish. But I'm not quite too sure what to do with these yet. I'm definitely going to be keeping them, but I'm going to have to make ways because there's a fella down the south end. I said I'd be down last week to pick up some commodities, but I had some issues indoors between me and the missus, and moving out and all bollocks, and then moved back and oh shit. But yeah. I'm trying to get down there ASAP. It was, I don't know, I've got that right on now. But yeah, not that it's going to make much difference because the way that the tanks are, it's literally been put there for convenience. I mean, I ain't too fussed about the weight on that table, it's oak, do you know what I mean? So, but you can see him just sticking his head out there. If you can see him properly, I don't think you can because of the lighting. But Yeah, seeing the little Grimodies anyway. There's RTM fry. That's chucks in. There's Grimodi food. He don't seem to like RTMs. He likes flavs, but he don't like RTMs. And divided it down this end, I've got the little tetracanthus sitting down there for an inside for herself in a minute. I've got her in this small volume tank because I'm just thinking Melafix at the minute. She got beaten up by the male. So normally, like I said before in my other videos, I try and swap in the females around to give the male, you know what I mean, so he doesn't go too nuts on each one. But I think it's just made him even worse because then, like I said in the video before, he just starts as soon as they're frying the tank, a big massive fry, and he's there trying to push the females to spawn again. And I mean, literally, the fry would have become free swimming 2-3 days before, and he's there trying to push for her to spawn again. So he ends up beating the crap out of them. So I think he's going to be kept on his own. So I need some fry out of him. But I've got a couple of 100 Cubans growing out, so well, there was a couple of 100, or a few hundred should I say. I'm down to about 60 now. They're a pain in the arse for that. The Cubans really predate on each other. Like it's like you get with the bovine and what else do that? The Jags do that. I suppose there's quite a few of them. Most of the Parachromis, I would imagine. Haitiensis. My pair never spawned, funny enough. And then as soon as they moved to a new tank, moved to a new person in a new tank. But I think it was to do with the water at the time. I was using tap water all the time, and my tap water was terrible. The pH is 8.6. So now I use RO and tap water mix. So it's random, like sort of mid 7s. If I didn't have the bogwood in there, and I didn't use other things to buffer it, like it was just, and it was plain tap water, I can get it down to about 8.2, 8.4 with just bogwood and tap water. If I use RO and tap water and I use bogwood, I'll do 50-50 with the RO and the tap water. And like I said, for the B9, that's absolutely perfect with the bogwood, because I end up with a pH in the low 7s, which they really seem to do well in. Whereas with these, I've got these sitting at about 8, 7.8, something like that. And actually, I tested this yesterday. 7.6 this tank's sitting at. This one's 7.6. That one there is the exact same as the parameters in the parent's tank, which is in the high 6s, early like low 7s. That tank now is strictly tap water with that huge bit of bogwood, and it's a new piece as well, so it's still got all the tannins and that coming out of it, and with that bit of bogwood in there. And I do one water change a week on this, but I've started to add a bit of RO to it now, just for the last couple of weeks when I've been testing my tap water. There's something not right about it. There's a smell to it. So yeah, it's been it's making me a bit worried when it comes to certain fish. I'm not too fussed about it, to be fair. Like, I know the flavs aren't a common species at all, but there's You know what I mean? It's like it's the exact same as a Midas basically, but a rarer form of it. But it's not them. It's things like the Cuban that I've got in there that I've been more bothered about, and the L-Numberplex that I've got in there that I'm more bothered about if something goes wrong with the water. But I know someone who lost some stingrays, but I used to ask them that all the time, how they managed to. I thought they had to be kept in RO, freshwater stingrays, and they were like, no, they've always kept them in tap water. Anyway, I know that the waterboard, yeah, the water's not the same all the time. Yeah, sometimes, you know what I mean, it might have more chlorine in it, more chloramine, or, you know what I mean, whatever, fluoride, depending on what additives they're adding. It's not always, like, you know what I mean, exactly the same. So if you're someone who's doing, like, huge water changes, this is why I'm against, like, 75% water changes and that, is because, not because of that old crap about mature water and all that, you know what I mean, because there's very little beneficial bacteria in the water column itself. But what it is it just, you're making, you think about it, this, if I'm using just tap water in this tank, and my tap water is 8.6, and my bog water's bringing it down to about 7.8, no, it's bringing it down to about 8.2 maybe, yeah. If I then went and done a water change, like a 75%, yeah, and then filled it back up with tap water, the pH is going to shoot straight back up again in like a huge amount. I've got a flab floating around. It's either a flab or an RTM. The others, this is what happens when this tank don't get fed for more than 3-4 hours at a time. Whoever they seem to take the disliking to the most gets eaten alive. But yeah, just a little quick update on how things are going. These ones, as I said, I love these. Got another bean eye.